So I'm watching Tim Kelly, which is thkelly67 on YouTube, and I'm listening to this guy, John Bruce Leonard, talk about the myth of liberalism. And, most of the points actually on that in the presentation were pretty good. But John Bruce Leonard kept beating the point to death that the idea of the pursuit of happiness was that people that consider groups of rights neglect duty. That was brought up by both of them, and then John Bruce Leonard ran with it and said that people need a sense of duty instead of a sense of entitlement to rights. But you can't violate someone's duties. You can violate someone's rights, so it's logical, therefore, to restrain people from the things that they can possibly do that will harm somebody else. And unfortunately, it has to be put in that sort of negative way, but, you could put it in the positive light. I can't remember what that term is called when you reverse something like that, but, you could say that you encourage people to not violate people's rights, or you punish people for violating people's rights, or they mentioned that it's not enough that when you have rights that everybody's expected, as long as you're not violating. It was the pursuit of happiness. Everybody's going around pursuing happiness according to his own whim, and the idea of the pursuit of happiness is that everybody can go around and just do anything they want, and with wanton ribaldry, and just completely screw anyone over they want as long as it makes them happy. And they brought up the idea of safe spaces and how some people think they have a right to not hear offensive things in classrooms, but that isn't a right, actually, because they invited themselves into a classroom where people are discussing things, and if they want to leave the classroom, they can quit school and quit going to that fucking school. They don't have to be there. It's not inside. If someone comes in their home and starts talking about things that they don't want to fucking talk about, then that's a violation of their rights, because that's their fucking safe space. Your home is your safe space. Everywhere else, not your safe space. Because once you leave your home, you have no expectation of privacy or expectation of any fucking safety. Because the world is a dog-eat-dog world, Snowflake. So, yeah, bringing that up is not even fucking valid. So, people do have a right to pursue happiness as long as it doesn't infringe on someone else's happiness. Period. That's all there is to it. And you can extend that to people's immediate families. And they and their families have the right to be secure in their persons, property, possessions, right? Or, if not, then no one does. So when people agree on someone's right to be left alone, that's sort of equivalent to their right to pursue happiness. Leave me alone, don't make me unhappy, or let me pursue my right to be happy without infringing on that right. So this guy went on and on and on about how that right is all designed to. It's like people's misunderstanding of Aleister Crowley's "Do what thou wilt" is the whole of the law. It's like, if you feel like it's the right to pursue happiness. If making a milkshake out of a baby, out of aborted fetal tissue, or just like ripping a baby out of a fucking woman's stomach with a knife and eating the baby's heart makes you happy, then that's okay, because that's what the founding fathers meant by the right to pursue happiness. That's what they had in mind. No, that isn't what they fucking had in mind, moron. And I know that's how I know that every fucking YouTube channel that has any subscribers at all is a shill channel. So 80% of what they were talking about was legitimate, but then of course he had to keep beating the idea that no one has the right to pursue happiness because it's a right of entitlement. People should have more of a sense of duty than rights. and that the right to pursue happiness was equivalent to feeling like you could do anything you want, anytime you want, as long as it makes you feel happy. And that's not what that means at all. So, and to dismiss the idea that if everyone followed their own natural rights, that there would be a problem is completely fucking ridiculous. Tim Kelly quoted John Adams that said, democracy presupposes that everyone is going to be moral or something like that, but no, it doesn't actually. Following rights predisposes that if someone violates your rights, you can fucking smash them in the face with your fist and say, stop violating my rights. Or actually, if someone violates your right to pursue happiness, when you're not bothering anybody else or fucking your right to pursue happiness, do what thou wilt, harm none, whatever you want to call it, your right to pursue life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, that's all that means. Life is liberty and happiness is life. If you're living and you're pursuing life, that's why you're happy, you fucking moron. And if someone else violates your right to do that, then you can ask them, please stop doing that, because I'm acknowledging that you're doing that, and I object. So you're violating my rights. I'm putting you on notice that you're violating my rights. Stop doing it. If they still don't say it, say, I'm going to take action if you don't stop violating my rights. And I will use force to stop you from violating my rights. And then, if someone keeps violating your rights, then you fucking use force, and up to death, you kill them. And that is where rights come in. Yeah, that is your right to kill them and stop them from violating your rights if they won't stop. Actually. Deliberately, definitely, actually. If they don't stop, you can kill them. So there's no conflict when it comes to people honoring everybody else's rights at all. None. There's no conflict. So you're wrong. That video, that presentation was mostly right, but of course 80% right, 20% lies, like all YouTube channels that are allowed to exist by YouTube, which is a private corporation that makes no guarantee of free speech because it's a private corporation. It's not a sovereign government or a kingship or anything like that. It's just it's a private corporation that offers a service of a platform where you can make videos, and if they don't like what you say, they can shut you down at any time. So, because they're not the government. Anyway, that's why. But they don't shut down anyone that has all the subscribers that people like Tim Kelly have and all these other people that have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 subscribers or more. They're definitely not. They're definitely fucking. They wouldn't exist, and they'd be completely shadow banned if they didn't have that formula of hooking people with what they want to hear, and then once they've got you, then they go on the fucking diatribe of how this idea of this rights-based culture where you have the right to pursue happiness, and everybody's just thinking this right to pursue happiness is just this like crazy free-for-all where everyone gets to do everything that makes anybody happy, and of course what makes you happy is going to make someone else unhappy. No, that's not what that means. It means that if you're going to honor your own rights, then you have to honor everybody else's rights. And that's what that means, you fucking scumbag. You have a duty to... You don't have a duty to honor anybody else's rights, but you have the expectation that if you violate someone's rights to the point where they smash you in the fucking mouth, then you deserve it. That's all. It's that fucking simple. But since you're a fucking egghead that sits around on your fucking stupid throne and has never done a hard day's work in your life, you've never actually had any conflict with a grown man. So you wouldn't know anything about that. But I know plenty about it. So go fuck yourself, Tim Kelly. You either bow down to me and kiss my feet, or go fuck yourself forever because you're a fucking shill. And obviously your YouTube channel is designed to bring people in and then fucking lead them astray. So that's what everyone on YouTube does. So, and obviously you're no exception. So fuck off, Tim Kelly.